Oh boy, the third episode of Digital Circus. The hit parade of weirdness, psychological torment, genuinely scary nonsense, and while hype continues. And it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Cause you know, they were bought by a Netflix. Alright, let's break this down in more detail because I simply cannot overlook such an event. So, what does Amazing Digital Circus mean to you? For some, it's one of the most popular web animated series on YouTube created by Gooseworks and Glitch Studios, which has broken all viewing records and even surpassed the legendary pilot of Has-Been Hotel by a colossal margin. For others, it's an endless conveyor belt of content created by plagiarists, parodists, and just plain weird people where everyone is getting mixed up with everyone else. It all looks like a stoned version of Elsa Gate 2.0, and it seems like there's no intention of stopping. And no, they have big plans for Clowness Pomni. And I swear to God, don't go down into that swamp, I will devour you. You won't be able to handle the flow of factory parody content based off the hype on Digital Circus, which is already living its own life. You know, they don't even care that the series has released its third episode. But for me, it's both of those things together. The circus is a show meticulously crafted down to the smallest details. It looks childish, but it touches on many serious and adult themes. However, to reach everyone and anyone, it's created in a form that modern kids with tablets just go crazy over. Horrors with bright, childlike characters. Notice how this trend has gradually evolved. First, we had Freddy Bears, a homage to something childlike for kids of the 80s with animatronics in restaurants. But today's kids have Huggy Wuggy, all sorts of cats, and a bunch of even weirder stuff. It's really unclear whether all this comes from one universe or if every 6 months they come up with something new colorful nonsense that millions watch on YouTube. And the Amazing Digital Circus is visually the same, just on a larger scale, with a plot and seriousness. I wouldn't be surprised if the third episode of the circus, which just came out, captures the minds of millions of children around the world. If the previous episodes felt like a trashy horrors in a childlike wrapper, the third episode is a full-fledged horror with all the consequences. Scary faces of some chthonic creatures, creepy animations, and homage to all these gaming horrors of recent years. A sudden outlast. In short, there's a lot of interesting stuff here again, and oh yes, they didn't forget to develop the characters through psychological trauma, delving into their personalities, and a literal psychotherapy session with a mad artificial intelligence. So one way or another, the circus is rapidly evolving in all 3 episodes. There's not a hint of waning interest in the work. After all, we've all wondered what do the characters do when Kane isn't torturing them digitally. Well, the answer is simple, they kick back, literally. They gather in a circle and just hang out. For example, competing to see who can hold their breath the longest. Spoiler, indefinitely. But since they have human minds, it's hard for them to realize that they won't die without air. This is especially difficult for our Pomni, who acts as a viewer's guide in this work. And it's genuinely nice to watch them. It reminds me of a warm group of friends in Discord. Someone is trolling, someone supports, and it looks more than cute and cozy. However, it gets creepy when Jax eagerly tries to find out what else Pomni's cartoon body can do. We've all seen what the interest does between these two characters. Damn, the creators are clearly playing with it, right? Do they want even more fan art with this tension between Clowness and the purple rabbit with Sand's smile? Ugh, Gooseworks, what are you doing? Speaking of teasing, this time it's special because Kane decided to create a trash horror in style of what the all kids with tablets around the world are watching. And you know, like Pomni, I've never particularly liked horrors, but I can understand why people love them. At least I finished the entire Outlast. However, 2 versions of the Scary Quest were created for the heroes, so they could choose their level of fright. Naturally, Jax provoked a situation where Pomni and Kinger just fell into this hell. So what can I say about this Scary Quest in this episode? Even knowing the fact that these heroes are unlikely to die and realizing that it's all just a quest created by Kane, I still felt the tension. The setup of everything happening is magnificent. The heroes listen to creepy audio messages, greetings from every second indie horror like FNAF, and that's disgusting creatures chasing the heroes, simple but damn creepy. It reminds me of those scary pictures that a friend sends you in the 3 in the morning to ensure you don't fall asleep at all. Thanks, best friend! However, what I appreciate much more is how well the dynamics of building horror and character development are combined. In this atmosphere of fear, we see a completely different side of Kinger. He comes to life. And the character who seemed just cool suddenly justifies all the fan art where he was drawn as a Giga Chad. Kinger turns out to be the most soulful, warm, and understanding character, even more so than Regatta. He talks about his wife who, even after turning into a crazed monster, still spent time with him. This raises the thought that perhaps people can be restored. Of course, it would be far more dramatic not to do this, leaving shattered identities forever lost, but if the series does down the path to a happy ending, the question of restoring consciousness might become one of the main quests. I'm glad that the possible outcomes of the series are multiplying. If before we only thought about escaping the game, hacking the system, or finding the coveted door, now I have new theories about the plotline of the circus, and that's quite exciting. Kinger revealed himself here in a completely different way, and his dynamic with Pomni, when he talks to her like a daughter, is perhaps one of the best moments. It works in contrast to the constant scares and horrifying atmosphere. Indie horror lovers will be thrilled with all these references, strange monsters, and how the enemy starts to take control of Pomni's mind. It's especially creepy since she's already in the avatar's body in the digital circus, and now a hostile NPC is trying to seize control. It's not just creepy, it's terrifyingly creepy. And all this is a homage to almost all similar projects, which is quite fitting since the digital circus is, after all, a virtual space. Where else could our heroes go if not into indie horror? Of course, besides Kinger's revelation, there are other psychological moments. For example, the attempt to understand Kane's quirks. The game's artificial intelligence, which, despite being omnipotent, feels out of place. Though this is more likely his attempt to support this moral state of the circus inhabitants, and we can't ignore the issues with Zubul. I'm not qualified enough to deeply interpret this aspect, but it's obvious that it serves as a kind of a social commentary on people who don't fully feel their bodies. Zubul is particularly interesting as she, even with an avatar that can change their body parts, still doesn't feel at home, and this looks original. But what I like the most was the homage to a therapy session. The attempt to confuse Kane in the logic of his actions could have caused glitches throughout the circus. In the end, Pomni and Kinger overcome themselves by holding their breath much longer than a human can and passing all the challenges, while Regatta subdued the restless rabbit and completed the horror on easy mode. With this, the quest concluded, leading to the thought that before we reach some kind of a finale of the series, we can expect at least several episodes dedicated to each of the yet-to-be-revealed characters. I am confident that we will see episodes where Regatta and Jax are explored. As for whether Zubul or Gangle will be revealed, that's a question. It's no coincidence that Gooseworks wear an avatar very similar to Zubul's, and it would make sense for the creator to delve deeper into the issues of what seems to be their favorite character. However, Gangle remains the most unexplored. We know nothing about her at all. I would be interested to see if her story becomes that unnoticed Chekhov's gun related to her masks that ultimately fires off in a way that leaves everyone in awe. One way or another, with each episode, the circus doesn't lose its appeal, and the desire to learn more about the characters only grows. After the third episode, I expect a new surge of fan content about the circus, especially among horror fans. For some reason, I am confident about that. But you know, those content factories don't matter much because the Amazing Digital Circus is on Netflix. Wow! It seems the circus has broken all conceivable records. What else is left? To be broadcast on TV? I don't even know what other heights the animated series should aim for, aside from completing its remarkable journey through all the episodes and ending in a way that people understand the conclusion and don't rage about it. The ending of any project is always the most challenging for the author, and what fate awaits the circus remains to be seen. But that doesn't change the fact that the Amazing Digital Circus has already achieved a lot and will continue its journey both on YouTube and Netflix. For some particularly suspicious folks, let me clarify, Netflix will not influence the production. I know that for some, it's important to repeat this several times. The situation like with The Witcher or other not so great adaptations won't happen with the circus. And you know, the future for the circus looks quite bright for me. From the very first frames, it's clear that the series stands out with its visual style and plot. The story unfolding in the digital space of the circus can be revealed in many intriguing ways. This is especially relevant for an audience whose interest in technology, virtual reality, and metaverse is growing. If the creators continue to develop original ideas and complicate the lore, the series has every chance of becoming a cult favorite among fans of unconventional animation. This is a clear homage to the story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. A strong and active fanbase is a key element of the success of web series. The Amazing Digital Circus has already managed to attract the attention of the audience, particularly those who appreciate animated projects with deep meaning and complex visual elements. If the series can continue to hold the attention of its target audience, engage viewers in discussions, and give them the opportunity to participate in creating fan theories, puzzles, and other content, which the series is already successfully doing, this will logically lead us to a phenomenal success for Glitch and Gooseworks creation. And the fact that Netflix signed a deal with them is just confirmation of this. Yes, many feared that Netflix would start changing everything to suit itself. However, the platform has nothing to do with the production, so our beloved Glitch remains responsible for the quality of future episodes. The fact that Netflix has taken on the broadcasting of the circus not only transforms it from a web project into a full-fledged show, but also elevates it to a pedestal as a show that was born on YouTube and broke into a streaming platform faster than any other on its own terms, without interference, redesigns, or anything else. This is worthy of respect. All of this guarantees that people will remember the circus for a very, very long time. So, with the right approach, the Amazing Digital Circus has every chance of becoming an important phenomenon in the world of web animation and digital art as a whole. Well, don't you dare to turn into strange glitched out thingies. Thank you all for watching, and I see you in the next one.